In the aftermath of an EU economic crisis and a weakened NATO alliance, the world powers are faced with an increasingly militarily powerful North Korea led by Kim Jong-un that appears to have partnered up with a nationalist Russian government in an attempt to salvage the chaotic situation worldwide. The U.S. has sent most of its troops out, leaving American structures back home, open to all forms of attack, including cyber attacks from enemy countries. The movie opens with a high school football match in Spokane, Washington, that features Maddie Eckert as one of the players Maddie's team. The Wolverines are playing against a visiting team, the Titans. As the game rages on, Maddie's girlfriend, a cheerleader named Erica, makes an appearance. Maddie's dad, Police Sergeant Tom Eckert, watches from the sidelines, and he is soon joined by his other son, Jed Eckert, a U.S. Marine who has recently returned home after the game. Jed leaves and heads to a nearby bar to get a drink. There he is approached by Tony Walsh, a childhood acquaintance who clearly has a crush on him. As Tony and Jed hit it off, Maddie and Erica arrive at the bar. However, their stay at the bar is short-lived because moments later, an unexpected blackout leads to everyone going home. Back at home, Tom heads out to attend his night shift, leaving his two sons home alone. Before they go to bed, a conversation between the brothers reveals that their relationship is strained. The next morning, Jed and Maddie are awoken by the commotion outside. When they step out of the house, they are shocked to witness several North Korean paratroopers and transport aircraft hovering in the sky. Instinctively, the pair get into Jed's truck and head out in search of their father. After overcoming numerous obstacles and driving through fire, they locate Tom, who instructs them to go to the family's cabin in the woods while he stays behind to help the people. All around the father-son trio, people are being shot and taken captive by the invading North Koreans, who are under the leadership of Commander Cho. Following their father's instructions, Jed and Maddie start driving to the cabin, but first they take a detour to save Erica. On reaching Erica's house, they learn that she and her family have already been captured. As Jed and Maddie drive away, Maddie's friends Robert and Daryl emerge from a nearby house and jump into the back of the truck, as it is the only way to escape capture. Appearing to be the only ones who know what to do, Jed and Maddie soon gain a following consisting of two other cars. However, after a head-on collision with Commander Cho, who refuses to let them go without a fight, only two of the vehicles make it to the cabin. At the cabin, Jed, Maddie, Robert, and Daryl get acquainted with Pete and siblings Greg and Julie, the occupants of the second car. Later that day, they are joined by Tony and Danny, another friend of Maddie's, bringing the total number of escapees to 9. Immediately, Jed takes control of the situation and assigns roles to everyone. In a matter of hours, the group has managed to gather all available supplies, set up electricity, and put together all available weapons in preparation for what is to come. Around nightfall, Pete and Jed have a confrontation after Pete carelessly fires a gun, and this marks the beginning of bad blood between them. The following day, the other runaways learn that Pete took the confrontation to heart and has run away with all the food supplies. What a greedy bitch. Despite this, the group stays put while Jed and Maddie head back into the city to survey the area. There, the brothers discover that prison units have been created and several Americans, including Erica, have been arrested. Later that day, when Maddie and Jed return to the woods, they are met by the others who inform them that Pete has led Commander Cho and the North Koreans to the cabin as a ploy to draw out the runaways. Commander Cho has brought along with him Daryl's father, Mayor Jenkins, along with Tom using a megaphone. Mayor Jenkins renders a convincing speech and pleads with his son and the others to surrender, but they refuse. On the contrary, when the megaphone is given to Tom, he urges his sons and the rest of the group to keep fighting. Sadly, this heroic act earns the father of two a gunshot in the head. Courtesy of Commander Cho, much to the dismay of his sons, they somehow manage to stay hidden despite being in visible agony. Fueled by rage brought about by the individual losses they have suffered, and inspired by a heartfelt speech from Jed, the teenagers make a decision. They decide to stick with Jed and fight against the people who have invaded their home. Once this unanimous decision is reached, Jed assumes the position of captain, and he begins to prepare the 7 for the task ahead through rigorous training. When the need arises, the team enlists the help of allies on the outside to gain access to food, supplies, and information. Satisfied with their training, the group sets out on their first assignment, which is to steal weapons and ammunition from the North Korean soldiers. Using Tony as bait, the team is able to lure some of the invading soldiers to a secluded area where they launch a successful ambush. With the soldiers dead, the rebels grab all their weapons and bulletproof vests. With these weapons, they launch another attack on some nearby soldiers and successfully take them down. Teen American footballers taking down an advanced organized militia. After this, they ransack the military vehicle the soldiers had been guarding and escape with all its contents, including explosives. After reaching their hideout, the members of the group start bonding and are getting more comfortable with fending for themselves in the wild. Through it all, Maddie misses Erica terribly, and he looks at a picture of them together before bed. When the day breaks, Jed and the rebels coordinate a large-scale attack against the North Koreans, using the explosives and weapons they had taken earlier. The attack consists of several calculated explosions in different North Korean army bases. After each attack, the team, who have taken on the name Wolverines, leaves a graffiti design on a nearby wall, claiming responsibility for their actions and inspiring hope in the hearts of American onlookers. At the site where one of the explosions is set to happen, Jed, Danny, and Maddie catch sight of Pete, who has accepted a position as a collaborator in the North Korean forces. Eventually, Pete dies in the explosion, but not before Maddie flips him the goddamn bird. Satisfied with the success of their mission, the Wolverines initiate their escape plan. Back at their new hideout in an abandoned mine, the 8 discuss what they miss most from the days when things were normal. When it is Maddie's turn, he remains silent, but he's thinking booty, and shortly after he heads back to the city on his own. In the city, he watches the prison from a distance, hoping to see Erica, which he eventually does. When Maddie returns at night, he meets an angry Jed waiting for him outside. Soon, an argument ensues between the two, with Jed accusing Maddie of endangering the team, and Maddie pointing out that Erica is more family to him than Jed. When things get heated, Jed shoves Maddie. However, instead of fighting back, Maddie tosses his phone to the ground, claiming it contains information on how to get to Cho before walking away. On the phone is information about a rally Cho will be attending in Main Square. Immediately, Jed comes up with a plan to get Cho while he is on stage. According to the plan, a car bomb near the location would serve as a decoy, and amidst all the chaos brought about by the first bomb, the second one would go off under the stage, killing Cho and his allies on the spot. What's the point of the decoy? In the next scene, D-Day comes, and as the rally begins in full swing, the Wolverines, who are positioned all around the venue, initiate the plan, beginning with the car bomb. 90 seconds before the first explosion, Daryl spots his father on stage with Cho. While this is a hard pill for him to swallow, the teenager does not back down. Instead, he gives the go-ahead for the show to commence. Less than a minute before the explosion occurs, Maddie catches sight of a bus conveying prisoners nearby. When he spots Erica inside, he completely loses focus and demands that Julie blow up the car, even though it is not time yet. Eventually, he gets his way, and after the explosion, he chases after the bus with Erica in it. While trying to get the situation back under control, Jed looks out of a window amidst all of the commotion and locks eyes with Commander Cho, who seems to have anticipated their attack. From the stage, he gives a command to his men, and immediately Jed and the other Wolverines are under fire. While Jed and the rest of the team are attempting to escape, Maddie is on a solo mission to rescue Erica on the bus. Maddie and Erica have an emotional reunion, but when he tries to escape with her, he realizes that she is chained to the seat. Outside, the rest of the team have escaped the building and are desperately calling out to Maddie, but he doesn't notice them. Left with no choice, Greg starts walking towards the bus, hoping to get Maddie's attention, but sadly he never makes it as the North Koreans gun him down. With Greg dead, the soldiers hot on their heels, and Maddie being adamant about saving Erica, the remaining 6 members of the team initiate their escape plan, leaving Maddie behind. Meanwhile, on the bus, Maddie somehow finds the keys and frees Erica from the chains. As the rest of the team escapes through a tube and drives away in a stolen vehicle, Maddie and Erica get off the bus. Unfortunately, they are immediately pursued by several officers. Luckily, they manage to escape with the help of a clothing store owner. The pair comes out of the shop looking slightly different, and the officers don't seem to recognize them anymore. Outside, Tony sees Erica and Maddie approaching and is elated to see Erica safe. As Maddie makes for the entrance, Jed emerges from inside and breaks the news of Greg's death, insinuating that Maddie's decision to go solo cost Greg his life. Later that night, Erica tells the team that the Russians have gotten involved and the invaders have compiled a list of all their allies. In response, Jed and the others declare their intentions to protect as many of their contacts as possible. The next day, the shop owner who helped Maddie and Erica is brought before some North Korean officers and is sentenced to death for helping the Wolverines. However, before the execution can take place, the Wolverines interrupt by opening fire on the officers from several vantage points. After winning the gunfight, the Wolverines celebrate by chanting their name aloud, and some members of the general public join in on the chant, signifying that the group has gained quite a following. This development is perceived as a threat by the North Korean military because the rebels appear to be gaining momentum because of this. Commander Cho receives orders to handle the situation immediately. Meanwhile, in the Wolverines' camp, Matty struggles to accept what happened to Greg, so he isolates himself. When 3 days pass and he has still not come around, Jed heads out in search of him. When they come face to face, the two brothers have an emotional conversation that helps them unpack some issues from the past. That evening, Matty returns to the mine. Later that night, Tony and Jed, who are hanging out by the lake, are just about to share a kiss when they realize that the mine is being attacked. As a result, they immediately hurry back in the mine. Amidst all the confusion, Jed directs his team members to make a run. Sadly, Danny and Julie fail to make it out alive. Together, the 6 survivors retreat deeper into the woods to evade capture. There, they come across Marine Sergeant Major Andrew Tanner and his companions, Corporal Smith and Sergeant Hodges. With a name like Tanner, this dude's sure to beat some ass. After establishing that they are on the same side, Andrew and his men give the Wolverines a situation report on how the rest of the country is faring. They then reveal that they have a plan to steal a suitcase containing an EMP-resistant radio telephone from the North Koreans and enlist the help of the Wolverines. In the hands of the U.S. forces, the device would be an effective tool for spying on the invaders and would ultimately give them an edge in the fight since the device is always in Commander Cho's custody. The team, now consisting of 4 Marines and 5 teenagers, have to infiltrate the local police station to retrieve it. The team then proceeds on their mission, but unfortunately unknown to Daryl, he is tagged with a tracking device by Russian soldiers. As a result, a firefight breaks out between the rebels and the North Koreans, leaving Hodges, one of the Marines, dead. After they manage to steal the box from the North Koreans, Matty escapes with it, while Jed, who is injured, stays behind to fight Cho. In the end, Jed shoots and kills Cho with a gun he finds in his dad's former locker. Following this, with no one left to stand in their way, the group members head to a safe house to plan their next move and celebrate their small victory. In the house, Jed tells Matty that he is proud of him and then has an intimate conversation with Tony. Sadly, things quickly go south as Jed is unexpectedly killed in a Russian ambush. Despite being visibly shaken by Jed's death, Matty and the rest escape from the house and start making their way to the Marines' extraction point, where a UH-1 aircraft is waiting. On the way, Robert figures out that Daryl has been tagged with a tracker, which is how the Russians were able to locate them. Left with no other choice, the group members say an emotional farewell to Daryl and leave him behind. At the Marine extraction point, Sergeant Andrew tries to convince Matty and the remaining Wolverines to leave with them, but they respectfully decline, choosing to stay back and fight, a brave move to be sure, but also dumb as hell. The movie ends with Matty, who is now leading the resistance, delivering the same speech that Jed gave when it all began to a large group of newly recruited rebels. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.